Hello, welcome to my weekly look ahead video, and what a busy week it's already proving to be. But first of all, happy Sussex Day for Tuesday the 16th of June, and I joined some colleagues of mine from Sussex to celebrate and read out the Sussex Charter on the terrace of the House of Commons earlier. Now, last weekend, I'm afraid we also saw another flare-up of violence by some completely moronic thugs who turned up to pick a fight. Ironically, they said they were there to defend statues, and yet they were doing Nazi salutes in front of the statue of Winston Churchill. The irony seems to be completely lost to them, and it's quite sad to see statues of Winston Churchill, Nelson Mandela and others around Parliament Square still boarded up, and I hope we can get back to some degree of normality soon. I've given my views on the murder of George Floyd, but I think we need to calm the whole situation down in this country. On the good news front, of course, the regulations were relaxed so that all non-essential shops open this week, and I hope people are going back to the high street to support those businesses who desperately need your support. Now, the last few days I did a Zoom conference with some of the local clergy, and they raised questions about what can actually now happen in churches. Churches are able to open up for funerals within certain regulations. We want churches to open up for services and all the other support that they can give. So I raised a question with the ministers over that one, and I hope we're going to get some more relaxation on that front soon. In Parliament this week, we've been doing lots of technical regulations. We have the divorce bill coming back to get rid of no-fault divorce, which I support. And then we are having a debate about the issue of the moment, which is free school meals. And I'm really pleased that the government has decided to extend the free school meals throughout the summer holidays. It set a precedent by doing so for the Easter holidays and the Whitsun break, and now that is going to carry on with £120 million for those families who qualify for free school meals throughout the summer holidays, and I think that's really the right decision. Prime Minister has also announced this week plans to merge the Foreign Office with DFID, International Development. Some people aren't in favour of that. I can see the logic of doing that. Crucially, the government is absolutely keeping the commitment of spending 0.7% of our GDP on overseas aid. We're one of the most generous donors in the world. It's absolutely right. It's spent in the right way for those people who really do need it. Some other things happening. I'm putting on my website something called Waterloo Uncovered, which is an archaeological project, and I'm interested in archaeology, which is using veterans who have suffered from trauma and other mental illnesses to combine archaeology and help for mental health. It's a really good project, so if you have time, have a look at this report that's just come out. I've also been talking to the council about the kelp campaign. You know, I'm a big fan of restoring the kelp beds off the Sussex coast, and we're trying to get the new bylaw to ban trawlers close to shore, which means we can restore some of the old seaweed beds that can do such a lot of beneficial things for the environment. Kelp absorbs 6 times more carbon than trees, apparently. And finally, I hope by the time you see this that the large unlawful encampment of travellers on Southwark Green has been moved on. The police were serving a notice to quit as I speak. Finally, this week's winners of my Corona Community Champions Awards, full details on my website, but this week it's the Allsorts Project, which gives support to young LGBT people with mental health issues, particularly needs stepping up and has been during the coronavirus. Frank and Linda Patten from Worthing, who've been making face shields from their home 3D printer. The firm Parafix, I've told you about before, who produces 120,000 visors for the local NHS at Lancing Business Park. Sue Wellfare, who does so much good stuff for the environment in Lancing, who's been behind the volunteers in Lancing. And Abdul Noor and the Curry Mahal restaurant. He's been providing hundreds of free curries to NHS staff and local care homes. And finally, 2 youngsters, Martha and Henry Deery, who were challenged by their school, St Mary's and St Nick's and St Mary's in Shoreham, to set up a business. They did. They produced homegrown eggs. They delivered it to people who were shielding and gave all the proceeds to NHS charities, which is fantastic. Certificates are on the way to them. So it's a busy week. Hope you're all staying safe. Go shopping.